I don't understand this at all. We got to get this out of here. Check that out. That's about 30-inch diameter. All right, friends, welcome back to the Sawmill. We are on the road today. We got the mini skid steer loaded up. And the first stop is actually get some diesel. Then we're going to pick up Dad and head over to Southwest Virginia, and we're getting back on that Helena or Hurricane Helena cleanup job. That's a better way of saying it. Hurricane Helena. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Maybe it's just Helene. I don't know. So anyways, this is like an experimental day. We're taking the skid steer over and we're going to see if this machine is big enough and strong enough to pull these logs out and start stacking them so we can take the Wood-Mizer sawmill over there maybe next week if this rain holds off and start sawing up some lumber for those people over there. So I think this mini skid steer is going to do a really good job today, or at least I hope that's what's going to happen. If you're not familiar with this project, we started this around Christmas. There's an older couple in Southwest Virginia, had a lot of storm damage from Hurricane Helene last fall, and they had no way of cleaning it up. So we've been going over there as time allows and cutting up firewood and saw logs and trying to clean the place up for them. And I'm going to use this grapple today to actually take a lot of the brush and the limbs over to the woods and just kind of make this like a stack for them. They can burn it later, or maybe they'll just let it rot. Who knows? But that's what this project is about. Bomb-A-Light is helping us out with this. They sent us this mini skid steer for this project. Of course, Wood-Mizer is helping us out. They sent us an LT35 sawmill to take over here. And also steel chainsaws as well. They sent us 2 brand new chainsaws to use over here on this project. So a big shout out to those 3 companies for helping us out. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to help out and help pay for the fuel and the time, some of the machinery that I actually had to go out and buy, such as this grapple for the mini skid steer, if you guys want to help out, there's a PayPal donation link down below in the video description and also in the top comment. And you guys have already been doing that in previous videos, and for those that did, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
I'm Tank Sinatra, and I'm bringing Tank's good news to GSTV screens across the nation.
Yet another gas station with a TV at the pump. I don't understand this at all.
Safe and find your guides and inspiration at Matador Network.
Let me go up first. Okay. Right there. Going down. All right, friends, we just finished up. We only worked for about 2 hours, to be honest with you. This was not going to be a full day of work over here. The main reason was just to bring the skid steer over here and see if this was possible to drag these logs out. And how many did we drag down here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 9 red oak logs down here. One of them, you guys may have noticed that earlier in the footage here, was too big. Just way too heavy, too big for this machine to pull down there. It was probably 30-inch diameter red oak. 8-footer, that's probably 2,500 pounds, maybe something like that, maybe more. Way too big for that machine, but most of them had no trouble pulling them down here. No trouble at all. So there's not a real good flat area on this farm as far as the sawmill goes when we bring it over. But I was talking to the owner earlier today, and he said right here is where a Wood-Mizer was set up several years ago, and he had some sawing done. And he said this is probably the best place to put it, so that's where we got it. And it's not exactly level, but when it comes to a Wood-Mizer, it don't have to be perfectly level. You can put it on sloped ground and it will saw just fine. These are all red oak. They're low-grade red oak. These are not veneer logs or nothing like that, but they are worth the time to get out of here and harvest them. And guys, there's a ton of work to do over here still yet. We're making some brush piles. That mini skid steer made things a whole lot easier. If you're wondering why I was moving those rounds earlier, that's so when we bring the log splitter back, we'll have a good pile right there to split out of. Here's that red oak that we couldn't pull out of here. And the tree that I cut it off of is even bigger toward the bottom. Let me show you. So right there it is, guys. That was a little too big for the skid steer, although I'd like to have another crack at it, to be honest with you, but I couldn't spend all day on one log right here. If I had a straight shot from here all the way down there and it was kind of flat, I'm pretty sure I could have pushed it that direction, but it is what it is. And here's the other half of that tree, and there's probably 2 8-foot logs left right there. Way too heavy for that machine, but the homeowner lives up there on the hill and he has an old Massey Ferguson tractor, and I'm pretty sure we can skid them down there to the landing with his old tractor. Should be no trouble for that old iron. And while I was up here moving these logs, I noticed we got firewood scattered everywhere. We just sawed it wherever the tree was laying, like right here beside me. And that machine is going to be really handy to take all this firewood and put it in one single pile for the log splitter. So as you can see right here, we got about 10 rounds. And this is red oak, 16 inches. That's heavy stuff right there. And I don't want to bring the log splitter over here and mutz this mess. I want to keep it over there in the middle of the field. So that machine will really excel at taking firewood over here and piling it up one by one. You could carry it over here, but why would you when you got a machine like that? So the plan is to bring the sawmill over here in just a few days and saw up all that red oak that we stacked up this morning. And then we're going to come back and start working on all this poplar over here. Check out this poplar. There's probably 10 poplar trees over here that are all uprooted. Look how nice and straight they are. There's a ton of lumber in there, guys, a ton of lumber. We'll be here all year, more than likely, off and on. Now, logs that size will be perfect for that mini skid steer. Even though it's rocky over there, I can hook a chain to them, pull them over here to the grass area, grapple them, take them down to the landing, and we're ready to saw. And I tell you what, guys, right here in this little opening, you couldn't even stand here the first time we came up here to work. So we're making some really good progress on this cleanup job, getting a ton of firewood, some decent saw logs. And this right here will be firewood as well. Way too crooked for a saw log and too small, but man, there's a ton of firewood in that. A lot of work left to do here, guys, a lot of work. And it looks like we're going to be cutting some trees pretty soon. You can see that one right there with that dangerous break up there at the top. That's a terrible widowmaker up there. The landowner asked me if I would drop that tree before we got done over here, so it looks like we'll be taking that one down. And there's one more besides that. So this tree up here, guys, it's a red oak. And that's that one right there that's leaning. It's leaning really bad. I'm not sure if you guys can tell how bad that is. The cows come up here and eat. He's got 2 feeders up here for them. And he's thinking one day a storm could come through here and knock that over. So we're going to take that down for him as well and probably get 2 or 3 saw logs out of it, although there's going to be a ton of tension in that tree and a lot of firewood. I'm not looking forward to taking this one down. I have to do a bore cut on it, but we'll help him out while we're here. And then lastly here, guys, as far as the mini skid steer goes, really impressed with it, man. It done a great job today. It has a minimal footprint on the land. You know, you don't make a mess or nothing like that. And if you don't have any oak logs that are 30 inches, if you just got some normal size, you know, 12 or 18 inch logs, it has no trouble skidding them out. Does a really good job. This Bomba-Lite grapple, the only thing I would change on it, I wish that it had a actuator, not an actuator, my goodness, a diverter valve, so you could send the hydraulic fluid to a different cylinder and you could rotate this from the control station, because Dad had to reach down here several times and kind of move it over and get it lined up. But a cow sneaked up on me. I'm not sure what was going on there for a minute. He came up there right behind me and went the other way. I don't think there's any bulls in here. Better watch myself. But anyways, that's the only thing I would change about this grapple. Diverter valve and able to stand at the control station and flip this either direction you want to put it in. But other than that, works really good, and that grapple is really powerful. When I didn't have enough power to move the log, the grapple still had more than enough power to pick the log up, and I never had a log fall out of it. Really impressed by that. All right, guys, looks like we got some rain moving in, and I gotta get back to the house because I got machines outside and lumber to stack. I'll see you guys back at the farm here in just a minute. You guys hang in there.